Most people think that their job represent their purpose. Is not very correct. Is a means to an end. So whatever you are doing right now might represent an element in the purpose that God has brought you to this world to fulfill. But before I invite Judith, I want to tell you some of the expectations that you want to have this evening. I want to tell you that corporate success is not about the right strategies, right? We're not just about strategies today, but we want to have a personal conversation with you. Yes, your organization might have what you consider as right strategies, but achieving personal effectiveness will go beyond those strategies. It's not about the resources, the amount of money that you have. It's not about the quality of the product that you have. Corporate success, corporate excellence, as we have put in our title, is driven by individuals, by human beings, by the people in your organization. If we understand that the success you want for yourself, the success you want for your organization has to do with people, then we need to rejig the strategies. We need to make the product align to the people who will drive it. So there are non-negotiables, and which are going to be the results you're going to benefit from this chat tonight. One, we need to learn the importance of clarity and alignment to your personal goals, your purpose, and then the corporate purpose, as it were. Number two, we need to have conversation around productivity and time management. We're going to have conversation around accountability and then the ownership mindset. Sometimes you are at work, you say you are not the CEO, so you resume and only do what you've been delegated to do. And we dive into effective communication and collaboration, adaptability and problem solving. We've talked about goal alignment for improved performance. My name is David Ogidinta. For those who are just meeting me for the very first time, I'm a life and business coach, helping ambitious individuals, those who have big dreams, to achieve clarity and then alignment to your goals. And together, we help you design execution strategies. About 99% of those who have worked with us are able to discover their secret strengths with the limited resources that they have. And I believe that this journey is going to be exciting for you as it is for me. I'm not going to do this alone. The amazing, beautiful professional who is doing this with me, Judith. Good day.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Yes, Judith today is the HR manager and then HR consultant. She is the founder and CEO of AT Consulting. If your organization is struggling with human resource needs, Judith is the right person to talk to. All right. I've been privileged to see some of her solutions that she is given to amazing organizations. She will be the human resource consultant I would recommend to work with. Thank you so much for joining. I love to talk to the right audience. I love to talk to the people who this program is curated for. Now, the topic we are discussing this evening is achieving personal effectiveness for corporate excellence. As a person, all right, how much effective have you achieved so far, and do you want to achieve? And then, how can you use that to contribute to the success for the organizations that you are currently working with? You might be a CEO, you might be a founder, or a professional working at one designation or the other. At the end of our show tonight, I believe and I hope that you will find yourself more effective. So I have three questions before we dive deeper. One question is, do you often feel overwhelmed at work, struggling to manage your time? You struggle to meet deadlines, stay productive at work every day. Okay. For those whose name has been mentioned, can you say hi in the comment section? Okay. For everybody who has had to work in one organization or the other, can identify with workload and you may feel overwhelmed. Sometimes 24 hours is not enough to achieve what we want to achieve in a day. But if you are among this community and you want to achieve more, then this event is specifically for you. All right. Now, number two category is those who are already delivering results. You're delivering results in your job, but you still feel stuck. You still feel some sense of unfulfillment, or you are unsure how to align your work with your bigger career goals. Let me break this down. You are a superstar already. You are performing at a high altitude, but once in a while, you feel stuck. You feel unfulfilled. You feel that you are far away from your biggest goals. If that is you, you can identify this event is for you. Finally, this event is for you if you want to develop a high performance habit. We are not for the mediocres. We are for those who want to develop high performance habit, who wants to take ownership of their career, who want to stand out, as top professionals in their field. If this speaks to you, then this is for you, because I have gone across the seven seas and seven oceans to bring a HR professional that we are going to steer these boats together. You didn't join to just listen to me alone. I want to bring up to this virtual stage Judith to take it up. Maybe you can start a conversation from what are the key pillars for personal effectiveness. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. David. For the sake of those that are just joining us, hello, and good evening. Please do tell us where you're joining us from and your area of specialization in the comment section. So, for the sake of those that are still joining us, I'm Udejudit, a HR manager and consultant, right? And like Mr. David mentioned, our topic today is achieving personal effectiveness for corporate excellence. And as someone who constantly advocates for organizations and business owners to prioritize their employees, right? Deploy employment engagement strategies, ensure that employees stay motivated and productive in the workplace. But then again, let's turn the tables around. You as an employee, how are you adding value to yourself? How are you improving yourself and to the organization where you work, right? What are you doing differently? And that brings us to this topic we are discussing today, how you as a professional can add value to yourself and then to the organization you work at. Right. But before I go into the pillars of personal effectiveness or how we can achieve personal effectiveness, I want us to first of all understand what personal effectiveness is, right? And personal effectiveness is just simply the ability to manage oneself, make sound decision, remain productive, and stay focused. Let me repeat that. Personal effectiveness is the ability for one to manage, for you to manage yourself, right? Stay productive, remain focused, make sound decisions, and stay motivated. So you might be wondering, how does these things link to corporate excellence? I think he earlier mentioned that without employees, companies can achieve success, right? And corporate excellence is simply how employees can also, how a company can consistently achieve outstanding performances, right? So do you see how personal effectiveness links to corporate excellence? If you are not personally effective, it's going to be an issue for companies to achieve corporate excellence because the employees are the backbone of the organization. Like I always say that a company is made up of individuals, is not the structure. It is the individuals in the company that make it worthwhile. Who services the customers? The employees, right? Who are the forefront, ensuring that projects are achieved, goals are achieved? The employees. So do you see how these two things marry? And if you don't have personal effectiveness, it's going to affect the success of the organization you work for or the clients you work with. Even in your personal dealings with clients, if you are not personally effective, it's going to affect your execution of your product delivery to this client. So it's before we even get to the corporate space, we first of all have to be personally effective, even in our personal lives, right? So it's just a general thing. It has nothing to do with even being in the corporate space in the first place. So before we get into the pillars, can you tell us who is excited to be with us today? Are you interested so far, or should we just end the section here already? I'm just joking, but I would like to see
And
what
the
you are saying in the
bow.
comment section. Are you ready for what we are discussing today? So we are going to be looking at time management as one of the pillars for personal effectiveness, right? I mean, we cannot even be talking about personal effectiveness without linking it to time management, because it's one of the key important things when it comes to personal effectiveness, right? A lot of employees, when they come to work, the first thing they are looking at their phones. Oh, what is VDM saying today? Oh, which one did Regina Daniel do? You're tapping your phone. You're trying to know what's happening online, right? Before you know it, you're already getting into conversation with your colleagues. Did you see that one? Did you hear this one? Before you know it, 2 hours, 3 hours has gone, right? Meanwhile, you have projects and tasks that are meant to achieve for the day. You spent half of the day gisting, and interacting with your colleagues, not focusing on the tasks ahead for the day. Meanwhile, that is performance management, which is a different topic altogether. There are ways for managers to track these things, but that's not what we are discussing today. But these are just one of the ways we get distracted in the workspace, forgetting that we have projects that have timeline and deadline that needs to be achieved, right? So that is why time management is very important. Of course, before you even come into the office for the day, you should already know, okay, these are the tasks I want to achieve for today, right? In one of my posts one time, I talked about how the some of the methods you can use to prioritize and manage your time, right? And there is the Eisenhower metrics, right? The urgent important metrics, and there is the Pomodoro method, right? Whereby, okay, I think let me just talk about the Pomodoro method first before I talk about the Eisenhower metrics, because I believe these two things work hand in hand. Managers can ensure employees utilize these methods, even in personally, right? Even when you're trying to achieve your personal projects, this thing really works. I recently stumbled on the Pomodoro method and I tried it and it works magic. And this is simply how it works, right? You just choose a task, right? You set your timer for 25 minutes and you work on that particular task until the timer rings. Once the timer stops, take 5 minutes break. That 5 minutes break, I not say go and start gisting with your colleague or carry your phone and say, oh, let me see what's happening on TikTok. No, just maybe drink a glass of water, right? Just walk around, stretch your body, and then get back to set the timer again. This time around, repeat the circle for like 4 times. You would see that it helps you to focus. You can even mute your app notifications so you don't get distracted, right? Some people put their phone on do not disturb when they are trying to focus on a task, right? So by the time you use this method, right, set this timer, you see that before you know it, you've achieved one task for the day. Now that's Eisenhower metrics I talked about is just the urgent importance. I think most of us are familiar with this, and most of these productivity applications have that, whereby you set your you prioritize your tasks according to urgent and important. For the urgent and important ones, you do it immediately. You have the important but not urgent, right? You can schedule it. You have urgent but not important. You can delegate this one. Do you understand? Then you have the one that is neither urgent nor important. You can just deal with it for the meantime or reschedule it. So I believe like we can just use the Eisenhower metrics to prioritize our tasks, then use the Pomodoro method to execute it and stay focused. So because and I think it's going to get me to the next pillar, which I want to talk about, which is self-discipline and accountability, right? Because a lot of times one of the things that delay projects and tasks in organizations or success of projects is lack of time management. You see employees, they linger so much in one particular project, forgetting that this project is time bound. And once the timeline exceeds, it's going to affect the time to execute the next project. So, which brings me to the next pillar I want to talk about. I don't know who's following so far. Are we following with the method I just mentioned now to ensure that we manage our time effectively? Not just in the workplace, even at home, even if you're a freelancer, you're just working for yourself, it works perfectly fine. Because I mean, you can't be telling your client the work you are going to deliver to him or her in 24 hours, it's taking you 48 hours, 72 hours, they are still asking you how fast. So you can also use this to manage your time, even in the personal things you are doing right? You can work with this method as well. So it goes beyond just being in the corporate space or in the workspace. It's a method that you can use everywhere. So we are going to come to the next one, which is self-discipline and accountability. I think I mentioned that if you don't have self-discipline, you won't be able to manage your time effectively. When I gave the example of people who come to work and they are chatting on their phone, I mean, a lot of us get carried away with social media these days, right? But if you have self-discipline, you would know that, okay, I have 4 tasks I need to achieve today. Probably you have meeting with your team members, and then you have a document you need to prepare and submit, or maybe for the developers, you have a particular feature of the application your team is working on that you are meant to deliver for that day, right? You've set the timer that you are going to work from that time, so probably maybe 12 noon, and then have a brainstorming section. Just prioritize, write out what you want to do for that day. So self-discipline is going to help you achieve it. Do you get? It's important for us to also accountability. So we're talking about self-discipline and accountability. Accountability is, how do you take ownership of your projects and tasks? I think Mr. David on that. Okay, most employees say, I'm not the owner of the company. My own is just to come and do what they gave me to do. Maybe they say I should just write proposal. Okay, let me write proposal. What extra effort are you putting in? Are you not thinking about this proposal I'm about to write? Is my work, is my integrity. If the company succeed in selling this deal through this project, I want this project. So what can I do differently? Are you just going to use the basic template that was given to you by the company? Can you go the extra mile of making research? Okay, the proposal we're about to write, what can I add differently? What is that compelling, irresistible offer that I'm going to put in the proposal to ensure that we are sealing this deal, right? That the team seals this deal. Do you understand? The same thing as a script writer or as a graphics designer. Are you just going to do the basic design that you know? Are you going to look for something extraordinary to add to it? So let's say, for example, the company you work for. So I'm using a graphic designer as an example now. The company you work for, right? They do brand identity design for different companies, right? And then maybe the client just said, okay, I just want a rebranding of my logo. The logo is just the color is red and white. So there are some key questions you need to ask the clients, right? Which audience are you servicing? What do you want your brand to speak? There are some key important questions that when you ask your clients, you as the creative designer will say, okay, even as much as the client wants this, I think I'm going to add this extra touch. This is what will make the brand stand out. So this is you taking ownership, being accountable, that if this project turns out bad, it's also on me, not on the company I am working for. They didn't concern, my own is to collect salary at the end of the month. No, your integrity is at stake. You have to ensure that the work you are delivering is of value. Do you understand? So, and now talking about being of value. Sorry that I don't know. I'm trying to let me not rush so much here. So I don't skip some important things I want to say, but I'm trying to see how I can rush up so we don't overstay our time. I think I already talked about ownership, right? How we can take ownership of what we do. Ownership is very important, right? If you know how you take your personal project so personal that's down to every detail, that is how you should take what you are doing in the organization where you work very serious, down to every detail. This is my life work. This is what is going to propel me to the next stage, to the next level. Am I adding value? Am I just here counting time? Basically, once it's 5 p.m., I go home. Tomorrow I check in, rinse, repeat. That's it. So it's very important for us to ask ourselves these questions. Are we just working, or are we intentionally building our career? So this takes me to the next pillar I want us to talk about, which is goal setting and prioritization. Very important. What is your purpose in life? Where are you going? Which company is going to help you get there? So these are even questions I believe we should ask ourselves as professionals, as a career enthusiast, before you get into an organization. Where am I going to? What do I want to achieve? Which company is going to help me achieve that? And then when you get into the company, how can I add value? right? And as I'm adding value to the company, or first of all, how can I even add value to myself and then add value to the company where I'm working at? You know, um, we often get carried away by I keep talking about the fact that we get into employment for various reasons. Some persons want to get into employment because where they are going, the organization they want to work for is in alignment with their future plan and goal for themselves, right? Some persons just get to employment because, okay, I just want to make an ends meet. But at the long run, is it just ends meet, or do you want to make an impact? Do you want to build a career, or do you just want to make ends meet? So you see that if you are intentional about your own personal goal and value, you will see that you'll be able to prioritize alignment with the value and goals of the company you're working with. I'm going to give like a quick little example. There's this colleague of mine many years back when we recruited him was just a graphics designer, right? And I haven't even told him that we need to do a rebranding for the company. But then he already came and said, Ms. Judith, we need to rebrand the company's logo. We need to change this. We need to give it a new look. We need to give it a new identity. And I'm like, okay, please go ahead. So now this is me not even, he has not even been given any task. A lot of times, some people will just wait, okay, what am I supposed to do? You give them what to do. But he's already looking at what can I do? How can I add value? Right. And when he did the rebranding, he did excellently well. And again, it's not just about being a graphic designer. Where are you heading to? So he's already positioning himself as a brand strategist, as a product designer. This same colleague I mentioned too, eventually, because we have products that we develop, right? When there was need for us to do a UX UI design, product design, he quickly got on board. He hasn't done product design, right? Even though he had kind of started learning, he quickly took up the challenge. It wasn't his initial responsibility. It was just to do creative design, right? So UX UI design is different thing entirely. He said, oh, he wants to take up that role, that task. And he started, of course, it took some time because that was his first time. But I kid you not, currently, this guy is very good with UX product design. He got into leadership position in the company, and then now he's doing well for himself, even where he is currently. Why am I saying this? I think I mentioned that I talked about how to get a promotion without even asking for it, right? I talked about the visibility and value approach. How are you even showing yourself? How are you showing that I have value to offer? I just sitting around, you come, they tell you to, you just do basically what you are being given, what is on the tax sheet for you to do, right? Even that is on the tax sheet, how are you thinking creatively outside the box to do something differently? Or are you just doing what do you do your research? Do you make research? I'm someone who researches a lot, like I learned a lot of things. I check things like I don't even want to be sitting on the bicycle where they are discussing important topics and I have zero knowledge or zero anything to contribute. So are you making research in your field? Are you trying to check for new ways things can be done? We are in the era of AI. We have a lot of people who say, why should I use AI to improve my skills? I have my brain to think. Really? When AI can actually help you to shorten the time. You use something that I meant to do for probably 24 hours, you get it done in less than 4 hours, 2 hours. It's just about, okay, you have an idea in your head, you give it to this AI softwares, and then they just help you perfect it. It's either you just give it the idea, right? And then when it generates it for you, you fine tune it to how you want it to be. Or maybe you even write your rubbish and give it to perfect it for you. These ways you are like you are achieving more in little time instead of okay spending hours. Imagine if someone who is trying to use AI to make their work faster, and then you will just say, oh, share, I just want to use my brain. My brain is too hot. And then 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, your clients have not heard from you. When someone have within 24 hours delivered on the task. So are you saying that you are not moving with the pace of time? So it's not just about, oh, okay, I have my brain to think. Where is the trend going? How can I effectively key in? So still in this goal setting and prioritization, and that thing is setting smart goals, right? It must be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. this thing is very important. I know we have a lot of goals, and like I mentioned, it's also important that you are aligning your personal goal with the goals the company wants to achieve. So let me link it to the example of the colleague I gave. He already knew that he didn't want to be just a basic creative designer. He wanted to be a basic graphic designer. He wanted to be a creative designer and also get into strategic branding and as well product and UX UI. So he was already positioning himself, looking at opportunities within the company. How can I learn this? How can I grow this? And another thing I want to remind us is that when you are learning a skill or improving your skill through the project and tasks you do for the organization you work for, don't think you are doing it for the organization. You are doing it for yourself because, my darling, when you leave that company, you are not going to drop that skill in the company. It's going with you. Whatever knowledge you've gained it. The projects you've done, it's an added portfolio to you. You can actually boast that when I worked in company XYZ, I was able to achieve this amount of success through these projects I worked on. But imagine if you did a shabby project when you were there, how can you confidently say that this was your work? So do you see how most times you are not just doing these things for the company you are working for, you are doing it for yourself and your future? What career are you building? Where do you want to see yourself in the next 5-10 years from now? So start now to build it. Don't just clock in, come and do your basic you do your basic entry, do your basics you're meant to do for that day, and then you're done, right? You're not even ensuring that, okay, how do I manage my time to achieve more? How do I step up? Do you get? So let me check our chats again. Let me be sure I'm not talking to myself. Mr. David, hope I'm not talking to myself all this while.
No, you are talking to every one of us. You are doing amazing, and I hope
Okay, okay,
our audience
okay,
are
okay,
appreciating. But
okay,
I will pause you a bit so that you can take a breather, and then
okay,
let's do an exercise.
okay.
Because we have promised them that they're going to be taking something away.
Yes, I want this to be very interactive, as much interactive as it can be. We are here to
Def-
learn together.
definitely, you're doing super amazing. Now I want to ask a question, so that we can effectively address it together while we are on this together tonight. When you go to school, you give the lectures, we give exam. So we want to give them exam right now to make this a
even
little more
without even
interesting.
without them completing the course.
Yes, of course, we give mid semester. It's called mid semester exams. So let's see how.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because we want to talk about, what are the impediments? What are the biggest challenges in maintaining effectiveness at your workplace? Put it in the comment section. You know, Judy that talked about time management, talked about ownership mentality, talked about goal setting, talked about um, building accountability, talking about you doing more. So I want to hear from you. What is the biggest challenge? Why are you not super effective? When we started, we asked if you belong to these categories. Either you have goals that you are not achieving, or you are already doing well, but from time to time you feel stuck. What are the impediments holding you from achieving personal effectiveness? Yes, we will ask your employers later to know how that is making them money. But on a personal note, put in the comment section at least one thing you think has been holding you back. What challenge is it affecting you in maintaining personal effectiveness? We're waiting for you. Maybe we'll pause until you answer. Okay. So, but for those who are,
Let's see.
but for
Let's see
those,
our comments. Okay.
yeah, but
I
for those
can
who are just
see Augusta. Okay.
okay,
I can see Judith. I can see Esther. I can see
okay,
Franklin. I can
good.
see Obilight. I can see Onyetikachi.
Yes, those who are still active, just type your name in the comment section. I want to put you on the spot in a soft way, because the reason is I wouldn't want this to just be a one-directional conversation. I want us to take something out of today, 17th of February. You came into David Ogidintas and Judy today's uh, live event, and then you got some value. Yes, the story will go off, because we've identified this over a long period of time from our personal experiences, from some of the clients that we help, but we want to hear it directly from you. What is the problem? What's the challenge? But I'm sure that your employer might not be here to hold you responsible. Yeah, somebody have said defining your goals, or be saying effective time management. Okay, defining your goals smartly. Beautiful. I think that is where I cut off Judith, and she's going to share more insight. But before I bring her back on together, your goal is about to fail if it doesn't belong to you. That's one. How do you identify goals that are belonging to you? Sometimes you are in employment, in a business place, or at work. People say they want to travel abroad. You follow them that you want to travel abroad. People say, I want to be the first to resume work. Somebody said, I want to um, be the most outstanding staff when it comes to dressing. Another person will say, I want to get my promotion faster. You see a lot of persons come to the business space with different types of goals. Sometimes you overhear your colleague talking about a particular goal.
Mr. David.
When you are setting goals, you have to set the goals that belong to you, all right? Not belong to somebody else. How do you know that you are setting goals that belong to you? You are setting goals that are inspired by your values. What are your values? These are things that are critical to you, things that are very important to you. All right. Judith have mentioned that your goals have to be specific, it has to be measurable, it has to be attainable, it has to be relevant. Okay. It has to be time bound. I'm addressing Muhammad Nasir, whose challenge for achieving effectiveness is being able to set smart goals, making sure that your goals are uniquely yours, that these goals are specific, right, to what is it that you want. They have to be measured. So what does specific mean? Instead of saying that you want to make $1,000 in a month, you include how, in what currency. You also have to have certain parameters to make sure that these goals that you are setting, that you are on the right track, that you are currently achieving it. All right. If you are not achieving it, what are the impediments? You're able to resolve it. Thirdly, these goals must be attainable. Now, we encourage you to set ambitious goals, but these goals has to be goals that you yourself want to achieve. Attainable doesn't mean that it has to be something that is low hanging. No, we also don't encourage people to set goals that you can achieve immediately. You set goals that you are able to make the right commitment to achieve. Okay. And then relevance in goal setting means that it must align to your personal values, your goals, your purposes, all right? Or your purpose, whatever it is that you are set out to achieve. Your goal must be reflective of those. Imagine setting goals like how I started that serve somebody else. You will not have the motivation to achieve them. And then the last on the smart goal setting metric is it must be time bound. What does that mean? You have to decide when you want to start. You have to also decide when you have to stop. So I want to give it over to Judith to complete the pillars from our end. And then I would require other questions from you. Remember, we have Obi's question about time management as the impediment. It might not be a question. So be here identify that time management is one of the challenge to achieving effectiveness. So over to you, Judith, and then we'll come back
Thank you
to
so much, David. And I am super sorry for the glitch in network. So we already talked about, for those that are just joining us, we already talked about time management, how we can effectively manage our time. We've talked about self-discipline and accountability. We've talked about goal setting and prioritization, the SMART goal, right? And then how we can prioritize our goals and set goals and make sure our goals are aligning with the company we work with. So now I want us to look at communication and building relationship, right? what are your employees, what are your colleagues, what are your colleagues saying about you, right? What is your boss saying about you? What is your team lead saying about you? How do you work effectively? Are you a team leader or are you a loner? Are you a team? Do you have team spirit? How do you work with your team? Are you the one that you prefer to tear people down just to get the spotlight or get that appraisal? Are you the one that hear other people's opinion, or do you just want only your opinion to be heard? A lot of times in brainstorming section, and not just brainstorming section, one of the things that cause misunderstanding or that cause issue among employees is lack of effective communication and proper communication. These are things that spark up little misunderstanding, right? Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants their decision to be the one that is being implemented. But again, it's a team, right? Why is it a team? So that everybody will bring their idea. We look at the best solution possible, and then we collectively as a team deploy it. Or are you the one that will say, since they did not take my idea, let's see fail now. What's my own? Shebi is not me that the boss will query at the end of the day, right? Or you intentionally want to sabotage that project so it doesn't succeed because your own idea wasn't taken. These are the problems that we see in the workplace every single day, or you see employees raising their voices at each other because they are not trying to calmly communicate and understand each other, right? I'm not even saying you should be best friends with your colleagues, but you need to be cordial. We all come from different backgrounds, and most times people are going to disagree with each other. But your ability to effectively understand that these are different human beings, right? In as much as I want my own opinion to be heard, I need to hear other people's. How are you attentively listening? Or are you just jumping into conclusion and wanting to talk? You should also pay attention to what the next person is saying. So most importantly, it's important that we exhibit team spirit. Team spirit is lacking so much in today's workspace because everybody's trying to get ahead. Everybody's fighting for themselves, trying to climb the ladder, trying to get that promotion without actually thinking of the next person beside them. Like, okay, for example, you know that your colleague Sandra is very great at project planning, right? But then they gave you to just maybe probably do this thing, write the program flow, right? Or maybe they gave you to do the design, or maybe they gave you to do the scripting, but you just want to do that project. You want to be the one to do the project. You want to be the one to be the project manager. Meanwhile, it has been assigned to somebody else, right? So because that wasn't assigned to you, you're indirectly trying to frustrate Sandra that the project manager was given to handle for that particular project. No, you're not really exhibiting team spirit, right? How are you intentional? Emotional intelligence is very important, right? We have different things that bother us on a daily basis, from personal life, different things. So sometimes you should be able to understand that at this point in time, your colleague might not be feeling up to it because maybe they are not feeling well or they are emotionally down. How can you help? Or do you just say, okay, I've done my part of the task, so I'm waiting for you to do your part so we can proceed. If you don't do it, we'll be stuck here. How are you being your brother's keeper? How are you applying emotional intelligence? How are you being empathic to your fellow colleague? Another thing is that your supervisor or manager is not your enemy at all. Don't see them as enemies. Like, they are there to guide and mentor you. You should even make them your friends. Don't fight them. Sometimes you're even eyeing their position. Some of these are the crazy things we see in the workspace, right? You must listen attentively. It's a skill. Being able to listen and understand people's perspective and where they are coming from is a very important skill to have, right? How do you build personal relationship? Or are you type that say, I'm not going to come and be pretending? You need to have a good relationship. How are you making yourself visible? How are you showing that you have value to offer? In meetings, are you just sitting and not contributing or not saying anything because you don't know what to say? You must know what to say. Go and research, you go and check. You can even ahead of time check on the project you are working on, and have your own list noted down, things you can put in, not in meeting, you're invincible, you're not contributing, you're just waiting for tasks delegated to you to do. No, you should be able to be visible. Show that you have something to offer, because it's when you even start showing that you can do certain things that these opportunities will come your way. Your boss wouldn't know that, okay, you are going to be great at project planning, or you are going to be great at writing scripts, or you are going to be great at doing the banner, or you're going to be great at customer service. If you don't show that you can do this thing, right? If you don't show that you have the leadership qualities, how would you won't even be the first in thoughts for leadership positions? Because again, if you are not the type that always comes up with new ideas, new ways of doing things, okay, this project we're working on, I think if we add this and add that, it can make the company stand out, or it can make this project more successful. Company business bosses, business owners love employees who are thinking towards the direction of how can the company grow, how can the company achieve better. These are different techniques that could actually get you to be more visible, right? So like I said, effective communication is very important. To know the language you are using on your fellow employees, very important. People are very sensitive to words. That's where these company policies come in play, right? Don't try to downplay your fellow colleague. Do you understand? Build good relationships. I'm not saying be their best friends, no, but you have to be able to relate well with your team members, so people don't become cat and dog in process of executing project. Because seriously, if you are not working very well with your colleagues, you won't be able to achieve success in any of the projects. Very, very important. So the next thing we are going to be looking at, very important, growth mindset and continuous learning. What mindset do you have? Are you the type that is not open to feedback? You are not open to learning. You are stuck on one thing. What you know today is what you know till Jesus comes. No, now you have to. You must learn new things. Are you investing in training? Are you investing in watching, taking on courses? Right? Are you interested? Are you investing in attending programs that will feed your knowledge? You gain more in that area you specialize in. Are you learning more things there? New ways of doing your work, So continuous learning is very important. Don't even downplay that, because if you are not growing, you'll be left behind. You can't be stuck in one place. Cultivate that mindset to be able to, what do I do when challenges arises? When the plan we set for this project is not working out, how can we immediately, what can we do to remedy it? You should be able to think outside the box. These are like leadership mindsets, not okay, this thing has failed, though. I don't know what to do. Let's go and take it to the boss. No, first of all, think how can it be remedied? You should even be able to also bring suggestions on how these things can be corrected or improved. Embrace continuous learning and self-improvement. This is so key. I talked about taking up opportunities that you've not even tried before. Don't say, I don't know anything about video editing, or I don't know anything about script writing, or I don't know anything about doing presentation. No, learn it. You should be open to learning. Right? There are so many courses. Don't even say LinkedIn. I know LinkedIn courses are more for corporate brand courses. It's always very expensive. If there is Coursera, there are other platforms, but okay, let's say you don't even want to spend money on these things. There is YouTube now. Like anything you want to search for is there. Even ChatGPT, you can ask ChatGPT any question, it will respond to you. There are so many platforms now where you can actually ask your questions and learn from there. So in as much as, okay, you say, I don't have money to buy this course now, there is YouTube. There is Google. There are so many platforms. There are places you can get this knowledge. But the most important thing is you must keep growing. You must keep learning. Don't be stuck in one place, right? So this is very, very important. That growth mindset is very important. So, and that is why it's important to know where you are going to. set your goals, because if you know where you are going to, you know where you are having lapses, and at this point in time, okay, I've exhausted this particular everything I need to know on this particular level of my skill. What else can I get involved in? That is where you are now looking within the organization. Okay, what are the projects going on? Where can I get involved? Or maybe because you are done with all the tasks you are being given, or your projects, and there is nothing on ground. You just come to work, you sit, you press phone, you look at your laptop, you clock in, you clock out. That day, you are not productive in any way. You've not even maybe taken time to go through courses to improve your skill. No, you should be able to look into opportunities within the company. What are those skills, or what are those projects that are in alignment with what I want to do with my career? Where am I positioning myself to, okay, let me get involved in this project so I can quickly learn how it's done, So these things are very important. Having a growth mindset, don't be stuck in one place. Is not a good approach. That's why people will come and leave you. So very, very important. Growth mindset and continuous learning. It can't be overemphasized, my people, please. This is very important for personal effectiveness. And if you are not achieving all of these things, corporate excellence can be achieved, right? And one person can't achieve a corporate excellence. It takes the entire team. It takes the entire team. So we also be able to assist one another, right? Have that team spirit. Don't be one man squad. No, very important. So I think I just have some actionable strategies for personal effectiveness, right? There are so many daily productivity planner that we can use to map out what we want to do for the day. Don't just come to the office. Maybe it's when you even get to the office that you come and check your timeline to see what was assigned to you, then that's after you've pressed phone for 2 hours. So so you see that that's
Okay.
not working. The day before, you should already have your daily productivity planner set down, or early in the morning as you come to work, that daily morning routine, right? Limit your time on low value activities, things that don't add so much to your productivity. Don't spend so much time with them, except it's your leisure time. Okay, you need to set boundaries too. Another thing is what time management helps us to do? It helps us to reduce burnout, where you say, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, because if you're able to prioritize what you want to do, you can achieve more and then know when it's time for you to take a break and stretch your legs and energize your brain. Do you get? So this is very important. Personal effectiveness is a continuous process. It's not something you just achieve overnight. It's every single day. We have to keep trying to be personally effective every single day of our life. There's no time you say, I'm baba for personal effectiveness. It's an everyday struggle. It's an everyday thing, right? Because we have challenges, we have setbacks, things come our way. So, but consistently practicing these steps, consistently being intentional, being disciplined, intentionality, very important. If you're very intentional about what we are doing with your life and time, you can always try to maneuver this even whenever you face one challenge or the other, right? And invest in self-development books, read books. I'm not someone that reads so much of books though, but then if you are the book type, read book. I prefer just doing online searches and all, but if you love books, read book, take courses, go for events that align with what you want to do, stay updated, know what is trending in your industry, so that you can come back to your company and say, this one is happening now, we are dulling, let's quickly implement this. And then at the end of the day, you'll be applauded for being the one that brought in that innovative idea that took the company to the next step. So this is a very key. And by cultivating these habits, you not only ensure that you are personally effective, but you are significantly productive and adding to your company. So that when the HR department is deploying their strategies and ensuring that they are keeping you motivated, if you personally are not motivated, how can other individual now motivate you if you've not personally motivated yourself? So do you see that it is our primary duty to first of all add value to ourselves, because invariably you are going to add value to the organization where you work at. So, Mr. David, before I hand over to you, there is this affirmation I like giving. So please, I want us to affirm together, right? I have this my affirmations that I used to.
Sorry,
So it's important that we have.
sorry.
Okay, so let's wrap up with it. Okay.
Yes, let's wrap up with it so that we'll have finished collecting all their money before they affirm. Because after affirming now, everybody will
We'll come
go
and go, Abby.
come and go. So
Okay, okay.
let's keep it for the
So,
last.
so I don't know. I hope I did justice to this. I know I left out a lot of things because I'm trying to manage time. So sorry, but please, I hope you've been actively engaged so far, and we are both learning something today.
See, I must confess, I have learned a ton. Okay, personally, I've learned a ton, and I must appreciate you for your resourcefulness. All right.
Thank you
Now
so much.
we're going to do one more exercise before we do the affirmation too. Okay. I'm going to provoke you one more time, and then we do the exercise before we do the affirmation, and then we call it a wrap for the evening. Now the exercise is going to be you are professionals. We are not master know it all and miss know it all right. This call is an interactive one, and we also want to learn from you. So maybe you can take some notes, or you can use the comment section right now. I'm going to read them out later. What are your own practical tips to enhance your daily productivity? So, you've been active in your workplace over time, and then something has been working for you, even though you want to achieve excellence, right? So, but what are those things that are working for you? Please put it in the comment section. We want to learn. And those who see this video later would love to learn from you. That is question number one. Another would be mindset is everything, right? Is the mindset that drives your skill set to help you produce assets that you can monetize and put money in your pocket. All right. So, what are the mindsets that have helped you over your career, that when you share it can also impact the next person? Please share it in the comment section. Two things that I want from you: what are the practical daily habits to improve your daily productivity, and then secondly is the mindset that have helped you. Put them in the comment section. Now back to what I want to do from my end to wrap up. I an organization in Abuja, and I have prepared my slide. We're there with my fine three-piece suit. Fine, maybe you've seen the picture with that blue suit. It was glittering. And we're speaking English and speaking to the slides, and these people in the audience were looking at me somehow. When you finish this one, come back. Let's tell you what is our problem. And I discovered something was missing. Yes. They were a very active audience. So, of course, that is one of the things we teach in public speaking. We build rapport and then get everybody open up to participate in the event. But on this day, I saw that all the outline that we already have for them in the on the screen was not doing justice to what we want them to achieve. So I now began to notice that the challenge is their personal goals, their purpose have been buried. They don't live for themselves. They go to work and serve their masters and collect the salaries and go home. They are satisfied, they are dissatisfied, they are angry doing their job, and they are not effective. All
Yeah,
right.
we call it disengaged employees.
Yeah. So, what was the problem? They lack personal effectiveness. Of course, we have talked about the importance of identifying your purpose and then aligning with your corporate goals to achieve effectiveness, right? Now, we began to talk to them one after the other on the stage. All right. Okay, tell me, what do you really love to do if you are not at work? Somebody said, I can do this outside my work. Okay, I said, what other special skills do you have that could have made your job more effective, but your employers have not seen it before? Tell us. What if they promise you extra money? What the additional input do you think you're going to make sure that the goal or the objective that you are serving in that organization becomes achievable. Judith, you needed to hear them. You ask the question, where had all these people been from the beginning? Let me also tell you something more relatable. Recently, I was watching a content on Instagram. Somebody asked a question: if ABCD were through with you, raise up your hand. All the people in the audience raised up their hand, and then you ask them, if XYZ were also correct, raise up your hand a bit higher, and they raised up their hand a bit higher. Now, without changing the question, it was the same question, but it added something to remind them to put themselves exceptional, distinguish from the average people that raise up their hand. And you see, majority also raise their hand higher. What do you think has happened? And the question was, why didn't you raise your hand at the highest in the first instance? All right. And then the question will be, what is it that you want out of your job that you're not seeing at the moment? That is the major obstacle. Your HR, see how beautiful Judith is. All right. They say she represents your HR manager. Comes, they serve you tea and coffee. Let me show you my own tea right now and coffee every morning. Yeah.
Hey,
And
I don't have tea, but I have water.
you have water. Show us your water. So you come to the office, they pay you good salary. You come to the office, you see a beautiful atmosphere to do your work, and yet you don't operate at a level you would consider effective. Why is that question? So oftentimes we've discovered from the first story that the reason is they felt that somebody have taken their personal dreams, shoved it, and want them to come and fulfill their own dreams for them. So it is the employer against the employee. We have seen that oftentimes, and these are some of the conversation we take to to organizations. Once you have this conversation, you will hear amazing things coming from persons. Yesterday, on Saturday, I shared a video, of a graduate who had one beautiful skill, but somebody paid him $50 to stand on a square, $50 to stand on the square without doing any other thing. And he accepted and collected that $50. At the end of the day, the man came and paid him $50, asked him, would he want to stand at this same spot tomorrow for $200? He wants to promote him. He said, are you kidding me, or are you serious? He said, well, I'm serious. I'll pay you $200 if you come to this spot and stand again tomorrow during the work hour. He came to work the following day and he paid him $200. He repeated this process. His friends who were skating with him, who have these amazing skills, were coming to ask him, don't you want to follow this passion? You told us that you love this so well. Join us. Let's do this. He said that he's at work. What was he doing? Standing on a square. And at the end of the activity, they give him $200. He didn't know when it was time for his retirement. In fact, there was a time, of course, what we have in the jobs, they give us a promotion and tell you, okay, come and assume this particular position, and then I'll increase your salary. That's how he continued to stand at a spot. Remember, I'm not saying that your job is like that, but imagine when somebody tells you to forget your dream and come to stand at a spot and they give you money. If you look at most organizations, that's what the employees do, and they don't achieve excellence corporately. They also don't achieve their own personal effectiveness. So it is a teaser for you what it is that you love to do as a person. That will also guide you to the kind of places that you want to work. I want to tell you right now, if your organization where you're working doesn't help you fulfill your purpose, it means that it's not the right place. True of us. If your organization is not helping you achieve your purpose, it means that it's not the right organization. If you are also not helping your organization fulfill their purpose, it means that you're not the right professional, you're not the right staff to work in that designation. So what we have done this evening will be to start this conversation and pose these questions in your mind. What is it I can do better? What have I buried over a long period of time? And then come to my work pretending that all is fine, collect salary. You are shortchanging the employer. You cannot achieve excellence. As my people will say, "Onye ji mmadụ n'ala ji onwe ya." As you are giving half service to your employer, you're also undoing yourself. Of course, you are not achieving your own goal. So can we take this conversation beyond this live stream to your house when you get home tonight to ask questions? What do I need to do on a personal note? Because your employer have no use for you if you are not at peak performance. True of us, right? And that is why they lay you up and get somebody new. I believe that most productive, excellent organization want people who operate at the peak of their career, and that is my wish for you tonight. So over to the comment section. Let's find what are the things that you do more uniquely to have a very active day. Obi said, remaining focused daily. My strength is believing that I can take up big tasks, knowing that I can learn even though I don't know it. Beautiful. Of course, Judith have talked about mindset, the importance of mindset. You need to believe that you can before you actually can. Thank you so much. Let me give it back to Judith. Let's see if there are other comments before we can take our affirmations.
Affirmation.
Yeah, but also ask them if anybody have any question for us so far, can put it in the comment section so that we'll address it in the next 5 minutes and then we call it a wrap.
Okay, thank you, David. Sorry, I was checking the comment section to see if we have any question, but I don't think we have any question there. So I think I can just proceed with my affirmation, right? We are going to do it together. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat box. So, okay, so let's go. I'm constantly learning, growing, and adding value wherever I go. My work speaks excellence, and I'm committed to delivering every day. I'm a valuable asset, and my contributions make a difference. I have the skills, knowledge, and confidence to succeed in any challenge I face. And then lastly, I attract opportunities because I show up with integrity, passion, and quality. I like saying these affirmations every day because it's very important that we show up as persons of value, impact, and integrity. So, yes, these are the affirmations I wanted us to say together. I don't know if we recited that with me. So I really did enjoy this section today. Mr. David is not here. I really did enjoy this section today. I hope you did too. I hope you learned a thing or two. Thank you so much, Mr. Obilite, for staying with us all through this, all through it. Oh, it's been quite insightful. Thank you so much, Mr. Obi. Thank you so much. I think it's been a very insightful interaction this night. Thank you
Indeed.
so much for having me.
Indeed. Thank you so much. And you know, a lot of applause are going up in the chat, showing their
I think the video is going to go up, right? For those that didn't join this and they can watch
yes,
it later.
yes, it will indeed. So for just a recap, we have talked about the importance and how, okay, you can achieve personal effectiveness to make sure that you win and then your organization win as well. Corporate excellence is a mix of your own personal excellence and then the effective work environment that you have to work in. Definitely. So I hope that we have been able to help you understand the critical things you need to be doing on daily basis, those very important habits that you need to take on every day. And I wish Judith, if you can copy that affirmation, you can put it in the comment section. I hope that maybe I will print it and and put it on my board. That was so perfect. And then so that those who see it later can equally um, reaffirm it on daily basis. Right? We've talked about the importance of clarity.
I even used to put that up on my post every single day in the comments. I
So,
think I can just copy and paste in the chat box for us. Yeah.
yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So we've learned that it's important we clarify on the things that are important to us, our purpose, our values, and then align them with our personal goals and then the goal for our organization. We've also learned the importance of productivity and time management. We've talked about accountability and the need to develop ownership mindset. The job is not just for your employer. The job was made for you and not you for the job. All right. So you are a stakeholder in the job where you are employed to work. All right. So you must develop this ownership mindset. You are working for yourself as much as you're working for your employer. All right. You need to design, develop, and execute effective communication and then collaboration. Your task, as long as it is not just your dream alone, the employer have a dream and then invited different persons to help him achieve it. So is your importance, all right? You must learn to collaborate with your colleagues. The key word is collaboration, not competition, all right? Competition will put you in trouble because you are misaligned when you are only competing. Um, the fifth thing we've learned today is that we need to adapt ourselves with the evolving culture of development. There are development ongoing daily, artificial intelligence, new products that your organization is introducing, new skill set that you are required. Make sure that you are relevant at the beginning, continuously until your work is done in that place. So learn to adapt to current realities and then improve your problem solving skills. You are hired to solve problems. All right. If your employer was able to carry his dream to the destination, he wouldn't have any need of you. All right. And that is, you must continue to hone your skills to be able to sufficiently serve in this capacity. Okay. And then the last aspect was goal setting, goal alignment with your purpose, and then able to drive high performance. Remember, you can't forget your dream because you're working for somebody. All right. You must find the alignment, you must achieve the alignment to be able to um, achieve effectiveness for you and your organization. Now we have special programs that we can bring to your organization if you want to drive personal effectiveness, if you want to drive corporate excellence. Our team have a special created program that we can bring to your establishment to take you from where you are right now to where you want to be. Those who we work with can testify that yes, you have the capacity to achieve your biggest goals, but the challenge is always the how. Okay. I hope you would like to see our handsome and beautiful face in your establishment, holding your team in hand, making sure that excellence is the reward. When we teach you the how to achieve personal and corporate effectiveness. So you can send us a DM, either me directly or Judith. Let's start the conversation on how we can help your organization forward. Okay. This wouldn't have just started and ended without a takeaway for your organization. Now, if you are seeing this video and then you want to work with us, feel free to reach out to us immediately. All right. So that we can show you physically or virtually how this is done Of course, trust that this is just a tip of the iceberg, right? This is a teaser you have tonight. So if you've gotten so much value, imagine if our army storm your establishment, okay, to show you how it's done. So we want to collaborate with you on this. Now, if you're also looking for some well curated HR solutions, okay, in form of tools, we have it in our store. All right, so you can also write me or write Judith directly, so that we can level up your HR game. Human resources is the need for the moment. Remember, corporate success is not about strategies, it's not about products, it's not about your money, it's not about your resources, it's about your people. All right, so if you value your people, they will give you value in return. All right, value for value. And one way you can ensure that value is that you continue speaking with us, and then we make it happen. Thank you so much. It's been amazing from my end. And thank you so much, Judith Uday, our HR buddy, all right, and consultant herself. God bless you. And I want to thank you for participating in this program today. So I don't know, Judith, do you have any parting word? Okay, Judith is already out. Thank you. I'm logging out. Sign out. Bye for now.